Welcome to my new yogurt series where I answer all your most common questions through trial and error. I've shown you guys how I make my homemade yogurt a few times before, and you guys always have a bunch of questions, so I figured why not make the yogurt together and answer those questions together, and I'll show you guys the ups, the downs, the fails, and the successes. Now, in my yogurt videos, I always emphasize using whole milk and whole fat yogurt. Today, we're going to be answering the question, can we use 0% reduced fat or skim milk to make our yogurt? And we're also going to compare and see if adding skim milk powder to the yogurt is going to create a thicker final product. So I have two pots going here. One is only 0% skim milk, and the other one is also 0% skim milk, but with added skim milk powder. I put them both on the heat and kept on stirring them until they came up to 180 degrees. This will kill off any unwanted bacteria. Then you take them off the heat and let them cool down to 120 degrees before we add our yogurt starter with active bacterial cultures, which will turn the milk into yogurt. But this is where things went wrong for me. Since I was whisking two pots at the same time, I wasn't giving them the attention that they required, and the bottom of the pot burnt. On one of the pots, I tried to scrape off all the burnt bits from the bottom, and off camera, I even strained it and cleaned the pot again. On the other pot, I left it as is, and then I proceeded as normal. If you don't have a thermometer to check the temperature, you could do the pinky test, which is sticking your pinky inside the milk, and if you can just barely tolerate it for 10 seconds, it's ready for the yogurt. I poured my milk into bowls first, and as you can see, the first pot was cleaned because it was burnt, and the pot in the back was not cleaned. You can see the burnt milk still on the bottom. Then I added the yogurt starter to each bowl. You can either add this directly into the milk and give it a whisk, or you can add some milk into the yogurt bowl first, whisk it together, and then add it back to the milk. I feel like you get a smoother texture when you do it that way. Once you've added your yogurt culture to the milk, we're going to cover it with a lid and wrap it in a nice thick warm blanket, and then place it in a warm spot to incubate. This could be inside the oven with the light turned on top of the fridge, or somewhere close to a heater. Let it incubate for anywhere between 6 to 24 hours. The longer it incubates, the more probiotics it will have, the thicker it'll be, and the more sour it'll be. After it's done incubating for however long you left it, it'll have turned into yogurt, but before you cut into it, place it in the fridge to set for at least 6 hours, preferably overnight. And here are the results for the 0% skim milk. This first bowl is the 0% skim milk with skim milk powder. This one did not set, unfortunately. I don't know if it's because I whisked in the burnt bits or if my skim milk powder was old, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to buy new skim milk powder and give it another try, and I'll show you the results for that as well. Tastes like yogurt. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know about that actually. And here are the results for the second bowl, which is just 0% skim milk. It has set beautifully. I cannot believe how thick it is considering it was no fat milk. I only incubated it for 8 hours as well, so it wasn't the full 24 I normally do. I did notice there was a lot more whey swimming around than when I normally use whole milk. Usually if I use whole milk, there's no whey until after you cut into it. Keep an eye out for the rest of the series where I'm going to show you guys how to make Greek yogurt and lebne and answer a bunch of other questions as well.